Hi, PerspectaWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday, July 29th. A hot and humid start to the new work week here in the Mid-Atlantic region. Looks like high temperatures today will reach or slightly surpass the 90-degree mark in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. Probably the hottest day of the week will be on Tuesday with high temperatures in the low to mid-90s in the I-95 corridor region. We've been relatively rain-free over the past several days. It looks like the chance for showers and thunderstorms will increase on Tuesday night and then become even more likely on Wednesday as a cool front approaches from the north and west. It looks like that front will stall just to the south of the area for the second half of the work week. That will keep us unsettled on Thursday and Friday with a chance of some more showers and thunderstorms, but it won't be as hot as what we'll experience over the next couple of days. In fact, high temperatures on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday likely confined to the 80s in the I-95 corridor region. Well, before we get to the conditions over the next few days here, let's kind of look at the tropics and also sea surface temperature anomalies as they stand right now. A few areas of interest I want to point out. First of all, large area of warmer than normal conditions tucked in just south of the Atlantic coastline, Alaska coastline. This has been kind of a repeating pattern for much of the decade. In fact, it helped to contribute to some colder than normal winters in the middle part of the decade in the central and eastern U.S., 2013-14 and 14-15. One thing it can do if this persists through the upcoming winter season is it can help to form an upper level ridge of high pressure over that part of North America. That in turn can help to send colder air masses from Canada into the central and eastern U.S. So it's something we'll monitor over the next few months going into the winter season to see if that persists. Of course, it still is an El Nino out in the central Pacific, but computer forecast models and some of the recent signs point to it weakening over the next few months, perhaps just a neutral signal here in the central Pacific during the upcoming winter season. Another area of interest, Gulf of Mexico. Notice that it's still a persisting area here of cooler than normal conditions. Tropical storm Barry a few weeks ago churned over the northern Gulf of Mexico, caused some upwelling. That brings colder air from beneath the surface up to the top level, up to the surface, and oftentimes that's just a temporary change in the sea surface temperature pattern, but kind of interestingly, it has persisted here in the Gulf of Mexico. We'll continue to monitor that over the next few months. Even along the eastern seaboard, there's some signs of relatively normal sea surface temperatures. One of the factors that we'll consider for the upcoming winter is whether there'll be a ridge in the upper atmosphere over the southeastern U.S. That was an important factor last year, and sea surface temperatures in this part of the western Atlantic and the Gulf of Mexico are quite important as far as that is concerned. So that is something we'll monitor as well. Also, down in the tropical Atlantic, some areas showing up now warmer than normal conditions. That'll be kind of a positive factor for the potential development of tropical storms over the next week or two, maybe even longer than that. Still a mixed bag though. Cooler than normal off the west coast of Africa and some cooler than normal conditions here over the Caribbean and near the Bahamas. There may be a tropical wave that we'll have to watch for over the next several days that could ultimately move into the western part of the Atlantic. Maybe this time next week we'll be dealing with a tropical system. Well, one last map before we get back to the continental U.S. This is the dry air that comes from the University of Wisconsin CIMSS website. That's all you have to Google to find this kind of a map. And basically this time of the year you have the trade winds coming off of Africa, pushing air masses from the east to the west. Oftentimes, and here is the west coast of Africa, oftentimes you have Sahara dust pushing off the west coast of Africa into the open Atlantic. That is an inhibiting factor to tropical storm formation. But the thing I want to point out is now it's kind of retreating to the north here. We had this area right now where we can see some clouds along that convergence zone, And that, again, may result in a tropical wave or two of interest over the next few days, basically kind of a retreating to the north of the drier air. That may open the door for some development in this region here over the next several days, maybe even going into next week. So it's something we'll monitor. Of course, we're headed to the more active time of year for the Atlantic Basin tropical season. It really ramps up in August and it comes to a peak in the middle part of September. Well, let's now take a look at last night's 6Z GFS model run. High pressure in control here in the eastern part of the nation. And this high tends to shift eastward over the next 24 hours or so to a position off the eastern seaboard. That will allow for even warmer and more humid air to move to the northeast from the southwest. And again, tomorrow, Tuesday, may very well turn out to be the hottest day of the week in the mid-Atlantic region. Then there's this frontal system that we'll watch over the next couple of days as it moves towards the eastern seaboard. Here we go into the evening hours, probably rain-free today and tonight, but then by the time we get into late Tuesday and Tuesday night, you'll notice some showers and thunderstorms starting to show up on the computer forecast map for tomorrow evening. High pressure over the northern plains here. Again, an even better chance looks like it arrives on Wednesday with a frontal system. That front keeps us a little bit cooler on Wednesday afternoon. Probably high temperatures in the mid to upper 80s as compared to perhaps the mid 90s on Tuesday afternoon. And then that front just basically washes out and stalls out right here. This is Thursday morning in the southern part of Virginia, the northern part of North Carolina. Keeps it rather unsettled in the mid-Atlantic region during the second half of the work week. So a hot and humid start with 90 degrees today and in the 90s on Tuesday. Then an increasing chance of showers and thunderstorms Tuesday night, especially during the day on Wednesday. That's it for now. For PerspectaWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.